Well, let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio, 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you viewing GBN TV, whether it's Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20, good morning. Those of you via social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning, welcome. I'm your host, GT, here on To The Point for today, Wednesday, the 19th day of March, 2025. Let me say good morning to my guest, the Honorable, of course, Mr. Dennis Cornwall, Minister of Finance. Let me say good morning to you, sir, and welcome to the program again. Welcome. I think it's
good morning
for 2025 thus far, right?
Good morning, GT, and thank you again for accepting me on your program for the second time so far this year.
Is it the second time already?
Yes, I've been here earlier this year.
Probably, I don't know, maybe I'm having a...
In fact, I was the first minister to kick off your program this year.
Oh, yes. I'm just recalling also. Other slip there for me. Well, nice to have you back once again, sir, and nice to have you back on the program again. This time we're dealing with, of course, just concluded a presentation of the budget. We had, of course, the lower house debates, and, of course, we had the upper house started yesterday, and we'll continue again. Let's get the conversation rolling off this morning in terms of the budget for 2025. One of my main question I want to ask to get the ball rolling this morning. Can you tell me what's the main aspect of the 2025 budget that will directly, that would say affect the ordinary people and the common man, if I could ask you in that particular manner, sir?
Okay, so Judy, let me just say that the budget that was recently presented by myself seeks to enunciate the transformative agenda of the government at this point in time. I mean, there are four major pillars under which we basically are looking at moving this country forward. One of them being health, the other one being skills development, the other one being renewable energy and housing. So you would see in that budget there are a number of actions taken to basically forge ahead with those issues. We also, coming out of the Hurricane Beryl on July 1st last year, we have started some rebuilding efforts and so on. And we continue this year in full force. We are aware that there are still some constituencies like Carrick-One, Petit Martinique, and maybe St. Patrick East that is still suffering from the back of the hurricane, be it in housing, be it in infrastructure, be it in the farming community and so on. We have tried to make sure that we have actually positioned provisions in the budget to deal with all of these issues. We're also very keen in making sure that our youth are provided for to make sure that they can actually get to a point where they can benefit fully from and also contribute to the development of the nation. So I would say that it's a budget for the people prepared by the government of Grenada, and we do hope that what we've actually enunciated in there will be able to at least deliver what we intend to deliver in 2025 and 2026 going on.
Right. The budget for 2020-25, what does it say, sir, for the overall development for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique?
Okay. So in the budget, we have three major issues there. We have the recurrent side of things that take care of wages, salaries, supplies, transfers. That's on the recurrent side. Again, the government has been able to at least focus revenue that would take care of all of this expenditure with a small surplus of in excess of $86 million. Now, that $86 million will be part of the funding for the capital budget. The capital budget is about somewhere in the region of over $400 and something million. Again, it's probably one of the largest capital budget that we have actually prepared in the last 3 years. Notwithstanding, we believe that we have put our efforts in place to make sure that we can deliver on what we say that we're going to deliver in the budget. Yes, we had a late budget in March, and so we know that we have another 9 months that we have to make sure that our budget is implemented to the fullest. So our ministries and so on will be at this point in time gearing up to make sure that they deliver on the key aspect of the capital budget as well as the recurrent budget. We also know that we still have some gaps in the system, meaning that we do not have all our staff in place to make sure that we can get it done. But during the course, we will be able to at least fill those positions and make sure we can deliver as planned.
All right. So how do you plan to balance the low implementation rate in 2024 and with the increased capital expenditure for the 2025, basically we put in more money in areas where we are not fully utilized. If you understand where I'm coming from, what place are there in the last budget cycle? Several areas such as agriculture, tourism, youth development, and so forth comes to mind.
Well, we believe that we have actually implemented the budget last year with some level of success, albeit there are areas that we need to improve on. I have no doubt about that. The Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation has come in and fill in the gaps in many of the World Bank projects that were basically slow and didn't get off the ground in several years. I can relate to one in particular, the development of the Fort George. That it is visible. You can see there is a difference up there right now. That was one of the projects that formed part of a regional project that was not moving anywhere. And thanks to our Minister of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, that project is almost nearing completion and should be available to the public in the next couple of months. I can say that with confidence that the project will be opened this year. There are many others. We have had, for example, the Molyneux Road that took a while before it actually gets started. We had to change the scope of work because of some of the challenges that we encounter on the site. But now that road is completed, it is being in use right now. The only concern I have there still is that we have to find a way of basically not allowing the people to park their vehicles on the road, because we spend too much money to build that road and now it becomes a parking lot. So again, I believe that people need to understand that having built or rebuilt those facilities and so on, we ought to find ways and means of getting the general public to know that they can't park on the road.
Yeah. All right. I certainly hope that could be taken care of in the soonest. Now, new job creation initiative. I want to talk a wee bit about that. I hope you can expand on that for me a bit and continue, which is contained in the budget, such as new projects in the construction and new programs and so forth. Now, previous budgets over the years, we usually have been have these put in. If I could rephrase that for you, we say over the years we usually have these, but I'm not sure I've heard any aspect of that in the 2025 budget presentation in terms of new job creation.
Okay, so jobs are created basically when you implement projects.
Yes.
So in the 2025 budget, we have several schools that will be built, new ones, as well as we will be rehabilitating some of those, putting in them various labs. So we are quite confident that these projects will be implemented in 2025 and beyond. And we are certain that most of this project will start in a couple of months.
Okay.
May, June, July. And they will be able to at least be implemented this year. Take, for example, the St. David's Roman Catholic School. That's one that is off. There is a project in Paul St. Andrews. That's the new school. That school is going to be continued. It's about 20% completion at this stage, but we know that we are going to continue there. There is this St. Andrews Anglican Primary School that again is going to kickstart. So there are several projects. I mean, I could mention, for example, in St. Patrick East, we have the Sutters Bay project, which is the breakwater project. That is a mark to start in the second quarter of this year. The funds are available. The contractors will be in place soon, and sooner or later, work would start on that particular project.
Yeah.
So there are a number of projects that we know exactly where the funding are, and we will be able to put them together. When we talk about, for example, the new smart hospital and so on, we are currently working on the financing for that particular project. We are putting things in place, and we are hopeful that we can break ground in early 2026 on that particular project. So we are not just talking about hypothetical jobs. We are talking about real jobs that will be created out there. As we speak, I know that Grenada has a shortage of skilled labor, and we can see that from the many projects that are going on. We need skilled personnel. And I always told the idea that if we cannot get the skilled labor on land, I think what the government needs to do is to open up the country to allow for skilled labor to come in. Get away with this work permit issues and so on, because we're not getting anywhere. Grenada is a small country, 120,000 maximum persons. We talk about unemployment is still high in Grenada. But the truth is that some people who have outside, they cannot be employed. They are unemployable. They don't have the skills. And some of them are not even willing to work.
Yeah.
And that's not something I'm telling you because I'm guessing that. I've been on the road for all my life since I've got into politics. And sometimes, whether in the morning or evening or lunchtime, you're on the road and you see people on the road doing nothing. Basically just doing a card game or a domino game and so on, and they're not really ready for work. You ask them for for the opportunity to basically be employed, and they tell you they're not looking for work, they're looking for a blight. I don't know what that means in
the easy way out.
The easy way out. So we have to build on that. We have to make sure that we can deliver our projects, even if we have to import workers to do so. And for those out there who basically claiming that unemployment is still high, it is down to about 12% right now. Unemployment among youths is about down to 23% thereabout. But these persons have to put them support and train themselves to be able to get those jobs. No one would give you a job if you're not equipped to do that job. And I'm sorry, if we have to open up the work permit environment to allow skilled laborers to come in to get it done, so be it.
Well, yeah, you speak a wee bit, and it sort of draft my mind a wee bit, and you speak about the unemployment and individuals, of course, not wanting to work, for say. As a National Democratic Party and the government, who's also the leading administration in government right now, what are some of the major plans, especially you being the Minister of Finance and so forth, what are some of the major plans to get this rectified a wee bit, especially the folks who do not wish to not work? And what initiative you think that you, as a government, you plan to get up and running to get these individuals wanting to work?
Well, first and foremost, we are going to be heavy on skills training this time around. And we have been actually speaking to the right persons to at least prepare the training programs and to provide the necessary environment to allow these people to be trained. But again, you could take a horse to the water. But if the horse doesn't want to drink the water, what do you do? And I'm saying to young people outside, rather than complaining, I'm not bashing you, rather than complaining that you don't have a job, put yourselves out there and get involved in the training programs. I've been part of a closing ceremony on a training program for plumbers in St. Patrick East, sometime late last year and so on. And there were about 30-something persons trained to do plumbing. Most of them are women, and I would emulate that. That is good. We need lots more of that kind of thing outside there to make sure that we can build the capacity to deliver on most of the things that we want to deliver, because the skilled tiler, the plumber, the mason, the carpenter wouldn't just fall off the sky. We have to basically train them now and get them in train to do the work. If you don't have that, you wouldn't get it done.
I agree with you there on that part, sir. So we do for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us here. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio. GBN TV will be right back. Yes, we will be right back after the break. Don't touch it out.
GBN family, we've got a brand new home on Facebook and you need to be there. Follow us now on Facebook at Grenada Broadcasting Network -GBN. Stay updated with the latest news, sports, entertainment, and everything Grenada. Don't miss out. Like, follow, and share. Grenada Broadcasting Network. Stay informed. Stay ahead. First with the news. Fast with the updates.
Tracksuit, water bottle, sneakers. It's time. Let's get ready to join us on the road this year for Quad Bank's annual Pump It Up Family Fun Walk. Tell your family and friends and let's get moving towards a healthier lifestyle. Carry a coup. Come out in your numbers on Sunday, April 6th from 4 p.m. as we pump it up from Alexis Food Store's car park to the Hillsborough Tennis Court. On Sunday, May 4th, the action is on the mainland. We're hitting the road at 4 p.m. from Monrouge Playing Field to the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Registration ends on May 2nd or while stocks last. So get your packages today. Individual packages cost $20. For groups of 3 or more, packages cost $15 each. Proceeds go towards the Princess Royal Hospital in Carriacou. Visit our website for more details. See you on the road for
Welcome home.
Like a freestyle, the life block flowing mile by mile. It's legacy, a beat that don't stop like Bob Marley say. One love on top, BCUH water out of sight, but it's always wrong, don't lose the light. From factories and wells so deep, cut off mangroves and fish they weep. Bring water for the garden, keep it green. Save the cash and the earth gets clean. We use the water And with a mindful mind, it's out of sight but never far behind. In nature, the answers always flow. Like water running pure, the cycle grows. It renews itself, same drop, same beat. It's all good, man, you got the heat. Water flow. No clean water, no vibes, they grow.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. Welcome back, Honorable Minister, with us this morning here on the program. It's to the point for today. It's Wednesday, the 19th day of March 2025. Mr. Cornwall, once again, welcome back. My next question wants to go along this line. Now, how does government intend to deal with, of course, the potential drastic fall in CBI revenues? And, the current Trump administration has showed itself to be very combative on several issues, such as the making move to kill the E2 visa program and so forth, on several issues such as, one of the main, of course, selling points for the Grenada CBI program. Additionally, over several regional partners have been facing visa restrictions like on their CBI program also. Tell me, sir, while Grenada has not on the draft list, as we would say, what is your game plan if we are immediately, of course, or eventually being part of the contingency plan? What is the contingency plan just in case that occurs for us?
So let me begin by saying that the current government is fully aware that there will be some decline in revenue from the CBI, IMA end of things. This is a non-tax avenue for our revenue in Grenada. You would recall in the height of the Russian applications and so on, we did make a windfall in revenue from the CBI. And while sent in March last year, we announced that we were not going to continue processing the applicants from Russia. It took a while before the backlog in the system got out. And of course, the revenue back then was much higher than we are having right now. We have been trying a number of things to make sure that we can be aligned or in line with what is happening in the region. For example, the 5 OECS countries that are part of the CBI program, we have now actually signed a memorandum of understanding to work together to make sure that we can actually be on the same page, meaning that we are not going it alone by ourselves. So we want to make sure we have strength in unity. We have recently been touting the idea of actually forming a regional, regional authority that looks over the CBI program in the region and so on, so that there is fair play and understanding what is taking place. That regional body is going to be formed very soon, and all the countries, the 5 countries, will fall under that region. So I believe that, yes, there has been a decline in revenue, and we are aware of it. In the budget presentation, we did say that although we have been performing very well, both domestically in terms of our local revenue, we believe that we have to be mindful of what is happening in the CBI arena. Now, we depend on 2 major sets of revenue. Revenue that comes from the non-revenue department, that's on tax, personal income tax, company income tax, and other taxes. Customs, duties, and so on, we also benefit from that. So we can say these are one of the major sources. And the CBI is the other one. So I'm saying that we have to be mindful, and the people out there should be aware of that. Our main source of revenue is coming from taxes on the population. We have not implemented any new tax in this budget cycle. However, we are aiming to basically improve on our compliance from our taxpayers. We can no longer be out there giving away taxes for persons who believe that over the years they have not paid the tax and now they just wake up and want you to waive tax morning, noon, and night for them. We can't continue doing that because we need the monies to be able to do what we are supposed to do. So my advice to taxpayers outside, do what you have to do. You have to pay your tax, just like me and others, to make sure we can run this country efficiently.
Okay, understandable, sir. We have heard also that the U.S., of course, intention, and I want to ask you this question of being a part of the cabinet here in Grenada. I want to ask you this question. We have heard that the U.S. intention to impose that visa restriction on all all government officials, I should say, yourself, your family included. If Grenada and all other countries do not immediately end or engage the Cuban medical professionals, what is the volume of Cuban involvement in Grenada's health? If you could answer that for me, also healthcare system, and what damage can this do to the health system here in Grenada? And if I could continue along that line, there's a couple of multiple points of this question. No definite statement, I would say, has been made on the issue by your government, if I could say that, thus far, with the exception of saying thanks to the Cubans. Is your cabinet and other senior government officials willing to give up their U.S. visas, to keep Cuba healthcare professionals in Grenada system? And if not, what are the alternatives being discussed? Are there any alternatives being discussed thus far by cabinet members?
Well, I always believe that you have to put the people above one political self. And in that sense, I believe that my government has already cited that we are prepared to go to the extreme to make sure that we keep our people safe. So if it means that we have to give up our visa rights to the U.S. to make sure that Grenada stands behind Cuba as one of the countries that supported Grenada in thick and thin. I personally was one of the persons who graduated from Cuba University back in the days and so on. I got a scholarship to Cuba. And as such, I have a moral obligation to support the Cubans in every way. So if it means that the government of the U.S. decided to take away our visas because we support the Cuban initiative, I would say so be it.
Yeah.
The Cuban doctors and nurses who have visited our shows over the years and perform a valuable service for our people. We complain every day that the service in the hospital is bad. But we have Grenadians who are graduated from St. George's University, Grenadians, and they are not here to basically support the health system. So if we can depend on the Cuban graduates to basically help the system until we can fix it to a point, I would say so be it. And I'll fully support the Cubans at any time, anywhere, because I think they are doing a very useful and human service to the government of Grenada and the people of Grenada.
Okay. While we're on healthcare, what is the project completion date for, Project Polaris, of course, the new health facility in Calavini? What is
right. So a lot of work is being done at this current point in time. You may not see actual groundbreaking as yet, but we are looking at tying up the financing. We are looking at designing the project in a way that it be useful for later on. Mm-hmm. We are basically engaging Mount Sinai Hospital to make sure that we can look at the gaps in the current health service in Grenada and the equipment needs. And so by early first quarter of 2026, we should be at a position to make sure we can break ground. Now, again, the hospital is not only about a building a facility. We have to build a lot of capabilities along that, meaning we have to find the personnel, we have to train the personnel, we have to make sure that we have people in place that can deal with the issues that are facing us. Currently, for example, Grenada cannot conduct major surgeries in the hospital because you don't have the capability. You have one person who is there doing the anesthesis, and if that person goes down, what happens to us? We still have to fly out to Barbados and Trinidad and in the region and so on, even Miami, to get surgeries done. Yet, we have a lot of people who have trained on our soil. They're not here now.
Yeah.
We depend on the Cubans to keep us going still. And yet, you have all these pressures from the mighty power in the U.S. talking about human trafficking and those things. I don't think we are part of any human trafficking ring.
Yes.
We are basically trying to utilize the services that we get from the Cubans to make sure that we can continue until better can be done.
So tell me, still keeping the conversation on the facility, how does government intend to fund this facility?
Well, we have announced in the budget that we intend to fund the budget by, in some cases, engaging in soft loans, that's concessionary type loans and so on. We have been talking to major players in that, and we have so far had very good words in where we are going. But we're also prepared to put a stake as a government into the project. So there will be some counterpart funding from the government of Grenada. In fact, we have announced that in this 2025 budget, we are going to put aside US $25 million in the ECCB to basically put in that hospital project. We also intend to put aside some monies from the National Transformation Fund on a monthly basis. We have not determined what amounts as yet, but that would be based on the intake. We're also looking at borrowing on the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange. In fact, we're going to expand the amount of treasury bill that we issue on that stock exchange, as well as we're going to be borrowing monies from friendly countries and institutions if needs be.
Okay. You mentioned in your presentation, sir, of the national budget that the budget is fully funded. For the benefit of the regular Grenadians who are listening out there, because remember before the actual presentation we heard that government has an intention of getting a $725 million borrowed and so forth.
Well, the loan authorization at this point in time is $825 million. Now, again, the loan authorization bill is a bill that affords the government an opportunity to borrow monies if needs be. And I have to reiterate, if needs be.
Yeah.
Because if we can basically reduce the amount of borrowings by putting in a greater stake into that particular project, we will do so. Notwithstanding that, the hospital building itself, the hospital, that's the main component. We are looking at about $250 million, which we have said. Now, we already have a significant portion of that secured. We should be getting some feedback between now and, let's say, April next year of where the balance of the money is going to come from, because we're currently working on with the institutions to make sure that we can get a commitment from them as early as possible.
Yeah.
So we are not worried about that. We know that we can raise the financing. We do not want to basically go out there and borrow monies at commercial terms and so on, because we did make a commitment to the people of Grenada that we're going to only borrow on concessionary basis to fund our projects. And so we are working towards that. You hear cries out there, well, that's a lot of monies and so on. The money is not yet on the debt profile. It's not yet in our debt profile.
Okay.
As I said earlier on in another program, that we have a debt of over $2.7 billion EC. And so these are monies that were accumulated over the years under the former administrations and so on. So we have not grown that debt significantly above that. We have commitment of $100 million from the Saudi Development Fund. We also have funds that we would have raised from the Caribbean Development Bank and others. And so some of these funds have not yet been disbursed. Take, for example, the Satel Shoreline project, which is about $10 million. We have not drawn down on that money as yet, but we have commitment and approval from the Caribbean Development Bank that this money is going to be made available to do that project. And as such, once that drawdown starts, then probably that would be on our books. But again, all of this funding are concessionary type funding. So in effect, we're going to use the $86 million surplus that we have on the current account to be part of that capital budget funding. We're going to take some monies from the Eastern Caribbean Security Exchange in terms of treasury bills and bonds. We're going to borrow some monies from the institutions I've talked about, and we're also going to make a contribution initially of $25 million, and then we probably incrementally put some additional monies if it needs to be.
All right. So, all right. So in any worrisome way, we need not to worry.
No, there is no need for worry. There is no need for worry. We have said to you that the budget is fully funded, and we are not talking nonsense. We are talking facts. We are going to draw down over $220 million from savings in our consolidated fund to also be part of funding of the capital budget. So we don't have to go over there and look for that right now. There are specific projects that we have to basically find funding for, and as I mentioned, the Polaris project, the hospital project,
yes,
we need to find additional funding for it, and we are working on that as we speak.
All right. We drew for a break. Once again, let's take that break when we come back for more on the conversation this morning with, of course, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Honorable Dennis Cornwall. So as we come back, we got much more for you folks. Stay with us. Don't touch your dial.
Got something to share?
Call us at 440-1252.
WhatsApp 405-3052 or 407-8458.
Or email gbnnews@gbn.gd.
GBN News, first, accurate, voted #1.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
My name is Amanda, and I smoked while I was pregnant. My baby was born 2 months early and weighed only 3 pounds. This is the view I had of her in the NICU. My tip to you is speak into the opening so your baby can hear you better.
Can't wait to see my granddaughter.
Welcome back once again, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. Let me say welcome back to, of course, the Honourable Minister of Finance, Mr. Dennis Cornwall, with us this morning. So welcome back once again. A question I want to ask in this segment before we continue. What would you say to the challenge by the opposition that the budget is illegal because the figures that were presented to the Finance Committee are different to that what's of the present, what is present to Parliament, or is presented to Parliament in the final document contrary to law? What would you say in relation to that?
Okay, first of all, let me say that I was out of state and I was not part of the Finance Committee meeting that was held prior to the budget presentation. But I would assume that in the Finance Committee meeting, figures were proposed. There may be questions or challenges on those figures, giving the government an opportunity to go back and change those figures, remedy those figures at one point in time. So although I was not there, I don't want to put my neck on the block and say, hey, there was a change in the figures from the Finance Committee to what actually was presented. But I do believe that an opportunity was given in the Finance Committee meeting to review every number that goes in there for every ministry. And therefore, if those figures appeared to be different, it would have been based on changes that were recommended within the Finance Committee meeting. Having said that, I believe we are a responsible government, and we are responsible to making sure that we deliver on what we are to deliver as a government. And therefore, I stand fully behind the numbers that were presented in the budget.
Your constituency, sir. Let's get into our conversation a wee bit with the constituency. I think we exhausted a wee bit in terms of the budget already. We still have more to talk about it as we continue. I'm sure when we do open the lines, there may be an individual may want to ask you a question or two in relation to the budget still. Your constituency. Tell what's going on within your constituency. Any updates that we may need to hear about?
Well, as you can see, a lot is happening in St. Patrick's. There are those who probably would want to tell you differently. But take, for example, the fawn pasture. That's a pasture in the Maho area close to Moncraven.
Yeah.
We had a situation earlier in the year where there was a contract given to basically rehabilitate that playing field, and there was some work stoppage there. We got that project back on track, and the grounds are now prepared and able to hold games of the primary schools and secondary school. In fact, on Friday, I'll probably be joining to Sates to be part of the Mount Rose SDA Primary School Sports Day. We've also gone a little beyond that. In fact, the old pavilion building, after the passage of Hurricane Beryl, the roof was damaged and it was leaking, plus there was a portion of it that was falling down. We engaged Shelter Solutions and they built a brand new roof that is on there right now, and it should be able to last for a very long time, given the kind of conditions that we have there, open to the sea blast and everything. We've also attempted to fix the toilet facilities downstairs of the building because, again, it was in deplorable conditions. And so by now, I hope that it is far gone in terms of having a well-equipped playing field and pavilion for the users of that particular field. So, again, I would say hats off to the government who have made this a priority and have it up and running. Also in the constituency, we have a number of road projects going on at this point in time. So one in Rosehill, we are looking at some in the back of Rosali in Glassy and Banway area. In fact, last Thursday I was there with the road officers, basically ensuring that the contractors were aware of what they need to get done there. And we are hoping to be able to start those projects very soon. On the housing side of things, I'm happy the way things are going. I believe that the Build Back Better projects have been ongoing. There are a number of projects ongoing still. I was able to be part of a ceremony that delivered at least 8 houses to the people in Rosehill area. You're still hearing nonsense on the road that the government built back houses for their friends and family, because I mentioned in one of my wrap-up statements that, I knew one of the members who received the house and so on. This is utter nonsense. Knowing somebody does not mean that they are your friends and family. Yeah. So people get away and get on with the program and so on. We promise to build back houses for persons who have lost their houses during Hurricane Beryl, and we are doing such. There are a number of persons also who are benefiting from the house repair programs. We had stopped it in December 15th because we are closing down the budget for 2024. We have now winding down the 2025 budget, and so shortly the program will be reopened to allow persons to get the houses. The bathroom and toilets is also another program that is ongoing, and we do hope that we can kickstart again in April, to make sure that these persons get out. So we know that there's a backlog on the list and so on. There are people who are out there making scandalous rumors about government is building back for their friends and family and delivering material in the nights and that kind of nonsense. Please, stop that rubbish. Stop that nonsense. The government has not given material to anybody since December 15th to now on the material for housing, because the program was actually stopped because of the budget. The build back projects were going on because they were funding already with the hardware stores to deliver material and so on. That is continuing and so on. But in terms of government basically selecting people to give them because of their political affiliation, none of that is true. And please stop it, because what you are doing is basically misinforming your population, misinforming the people and so on, and making them what they should not be. I don't want to say that, you would not get anywhere with that, because that doesn't make sense at the end of the day. So use another method, not those things about we giving material to our supporters and not others.
All right. Would you say, sir, that you have happy thus far with the 2.5 years that you have been, of course, been elected to your constituency and so forth, in terms of making that overall change in the lives of your constituents? Are you saying that you are happy, or you think that you could have done much more?
I am extremely happy and confident that I have delivered on what I promised that I would have done. And you could just walk around St. Patrick's East. Every half a mile you walk, you would see something happening in St. Patrick. Whether it's been road, whether it be housing, whether it be Nawassa trying to improve the water condition in the road and so on. We still believe that Nawassa has a lot more to do, because I passed through the St. Andrews part of this country, and again, I'm crying out that we need to basically get those roads back on track as soon as possible. I don't know what the problem is, if the contractor have difficulties and so on, but we need to bring back our roads where they're supposed to be. I know it's not a case of the government, because the government is not the one basically putting back the roads after Nawassa do the work. So Nawassa need to basically insist on the contractors who are doing the repairs to the road to get it done and get it done as quick as possible. There are several other areas that we have done in St. Patrick East. Take, for example, in recent times I've given the St. Patrick Cricket Council a major sponsor to be able to rehabilitate cricket in Grenada. In fact, the competitions were held between several villages in St. Patrick East and just on the surrounding areas of St. Patrick, like Tivoli, Redmond and those areas and so on. And based on what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing, this competition has actually revived or gotten a lot of people who are involved in the cricket. And I do say to them, kudos. Once we continue to basically work together, we can have a lot more done in that area. In the Rose Hill area, we have been sponsoring also the football competition. It's also going well. And I do hope that, a lot of people in the Rose Hill area can come out and benefit from it. And so a lot is happening, be it sponsorship of activities that would get the people together and come out and, entertain themselves. That is happening. On Mount Street, for example, we are doing the community center as well as we are doing the basketball court and so on. We have also done major issues on the road to make sure that the road does not get undermined by the water when it runs on it and so on. So yes, St. Patrick, it's doing well. We are taking steps to make sure we can improve on what we've had in St. Patrick. And so for those who continue to basically misalign or misinform, let them continue. But we are continuing to do our work undaunted and without fear nor favor.
I want to ask you this, sir. Are you seeking re-election? And of course,
certainly, GT, without a doubt, GT. I think I have a lot more to offer the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Yeah.
And so I've heard the talk out there that Cornwall is not running. Let me make it abundantly clear. I would run until I say no. Some people look at you and say, well, boy, in the budget you appear to be sick. I was sick. Sick from the standpoint that I had just come out on a tour in the Middle East. I came back with an eye infection. And I was on sick leave at the time I was presenting the budget. Yeah. If my glasses right now, I would say I have to change all that because, the eye infection is a sign of that. So everything is not there. Notwithstanding that, I am healthy, I'm prepared, and wholly and truly prepared to support this administration in getting into office a second term. So take it off your mind. Cornwall will be there, full support.
All right, I'm happy to hear that. So one question before we open up the lines. Are you, thus far as being a minister of government, happy with the overall performance of the Rudin administration in the 2.5 years of running this government? Are you happy thus far?
Yes, certainly. I'm very happy with the government and its performance thus far. People always say that, show me what you do. And there are endless or countless examples of what this young administration has been able to do, despite when we got into office, they said we were kids in Pampers. They said that we were not able to last for 6 months. We lasted 6 months. We lasted a year and a half. We are now 2 years, 9 months into the game, and we have done a lot. I cannot exhaust the list, but we have paid the pension, we have paid the bi-monthly salaries, we have actually implemented the new minimum wage, we have actually implemented the school feeding program, we have implemented the funding of the kids in the school, and a lot more and so on. Too many to mention. So when you're looking for excuse and so on, don't blame NDC because we are young. Don't blame the government because we are young. Take the example of the NDC and run with it.
All right. Great. 435-2041, 435. We have 15 minutes left before we take a wrap for today's program. The lines are now open via the WhatsApp and also the direct line, 435-2041. And I beg of you to, of course, keep your contribution short and to the point so we can accommodate as much questions as possible. Let's go to the phone line for our first caller. We lost that caller there. 435-2041, that's the number. If you have a question that you would like to ask the Minister of Finance here on the program this morning, feel free to do so. 435-2041. As we await the calls, let's, of course, try the WhatsApp call this morning. I think I see someone's calling there. Let's try this caller, see if they're ready to have a contribution for this morning. Caller via WhatsApp, good morning, you're live. Caller via WhatsApp, good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning to you. Go right ahead, please.
To you and your guests, yes. As I'm listening to Mr. Telesford, our Minister of Finance, and I'm just thinking, sir, what is happening in the US of A is hurting, and a lot of people are upset, but I want to see the blessing in all of this. Over the years, we relied heavily on these aids, but I think it's an opportunity for us now to look internally as to how we can utilize what we have, because we have had a lot of wastage over the years. Mangoes wasting, breadfruit wasting, So I think it's a kind of a blessing in disguise that we minimize on the wastage. We look at what we have, and the Caribbean leaders come together band together, pool the resources together for the peoples. So, as I said, I can.
Somehow we are losing the callers. I guess you grabbed the
Yes, I get an idea of what you're saying. Let me first of all say that what is happening currently in the U.S. with the United States government intention to basically be protectionist and so on, that is not something new, and we believe that we have to just band our bellies, stick together, and be able to ride out the storm. I mean, we do have a dependency on some of the resources from the U.S. through our remittances as well as the tourism sector and maybe agriculture and fisheries. But yes, we are wary of that. We know about it and so on. It doesn't affect only Grenada because Grenada is not the only country that has been pressured to do a number of things. We are prepared to stand along with our brothers and sisters in the region to make sure we can defend our independent territories. And as such, the U.S. has its right to do what it wants, and we also have a right to do what we want to do. And so if we stick together, united we stand, divided we fall. Again, those persons who believe that, okay, this is happening because the NDC government is in office, absolute rubbish. Because we are not the only ones facing the demands to basically accept deportees and persons who they have actually considered to be illegally living in the countries. We have to make sure that we protect our people. When I said our people, those that are born Grenadians and are coming back because of that particular policy of the government. But we should not accept any person to our countries because we want to make sure that Grenada maintains a safe place to live and a safe environment at all times.
All right, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Indeed, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. How are you?
Doing good, sir. Go right ahead.
Good morning to you, guests. Just too cute. Well, there was a third one, but I must indeed say you preempted me. You asked it, and it was clarified. But here are the other two. Years ago, it was announced in the budget that there would be a cultural center built in, and may I say, Simon as we knew it as boys. I noticed this year nothing was spoken about it. Can the gentleman tell us what has happened there if the job has been completed or otherwise? Finally, the gentleman referred to many of the programs in his constituency which he sponsored. Can he tell us where the finances come from for these sponsors? For what it's worth. Thank you very much and have a nice day, will you?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll speak about the Simon Cultural Center. And while I do not want to get into details and so on, but that particular project is currently on the review, meaning on the review. We have actually initially in the early stages had to stop the project because we believe that the amount of money that we intended to spend in the first case would not have given us value for money. And so that was under investigation, under review. The government always said to the public that government is a continuum, and as such, most of the project that was initiated under the former administration, we have given a commitment to complete those projects. But we will not just complete any project without basically making sure that what the public gets at the end of the day is value for money. And so, while a particular project, like you mentioned, is still under review, we believe that at some point in time, that project will be completed also. Not in the original design and format that the former administration had it, because we believe there are a lot of wastage and a lot of inconsequential issues that were done prior to this project coming on stream. I can tell you without a doubt, some $3 million was actually given to the contractor, even before all the conditions precedent to the disbursements of that fund went in there. So, for example, the insurance for that particular project was not in place, but the contractor got over $3 million given to him to do whatever he had to do. So again, we are not just going to do what the former administration said that we are doing. We're going to continue to do our projects because government is a continuum. The other project about where the sponsorship come from, I wouldn't want to go into details, but we have resources, personally and otherwise, that we can make available to the communities sometimes to ensure that we can encourage persons to go out there and play and to commune. But I don't have no obligation to give where the personal resources come from.
Okay. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. Go right ahead, please.
Good morning, GT. Good morning, Mr. Cornwall.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Cornwall, first I want to say congratulations on a great budget. Budget got things for everybody. Mr. Cornwall, we in the diaspora got you back. Mr. Cornwall, what I want to speak about St. Patrick's. In St. Patrick's, all right, the old public works is dilapidated, all right? And I want to make a suggestion. Why can't we break it down and put a building and put the police department and the fire at the top? All right, and another thing I want to talk to you about is Sutter's Hard Court. It's in a dilapidated state also too. You know what I mean? I remember as a young man coming up in the revolution, we worked hard to build that court, and now we see it falling apart. You need painting, you need an upgrade. So I want to suggest that you do something. Another thing I want to talk about, the health complex in Sutter's. A gentleman went to the complex the other day and he said he found mold where they're doing the dressing and stuff like that. And I wanted to take a look into it personally. You take a drive or a walk over there, because we cannot have people going to get dressing and there is mold on the wall, because in the United States, they will shut it down because of health-wise. So I want to bring these suggestions and then to you for you to look into it personally, especially the Sutter's Hard Code, because this is the way all the netball used to be playing. Was at first it used to be at the Anglican court, by the police station. And then after, during the revolution, we opened up that court, but since Anglican school built, they put the gate, so no longer there is Sutter's Hard Court. And the young people want something to do. That's where they play the small goal, the everything. And I know you is a man who will help Joseph Andal. So if two of us could come together and do something for the people of St. Patrick's, and also the library too. We used to have it, it used to be before you, because you're from St. Patrick's.
Okay, thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me reassure you that government has a program to rehabilitate and restore all the basketball courts in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We have started some of them, and we are getting there slowly but surely. So rest assured that the basketball court and other facilities that were there will be rehabilitated. Regarding the medical station, that's the one on the canal and other ones in St. Patrick's. Yes, again, as part of a government program, we are going to rehabilitate those entities. And let me just make this point. It's not that the politicians or the MPs are not aware of those things. We have visited and had discussions with the nurses and doctors on the facility on the canal, as well as we are looking at one in Snell, Montreach area and so on. Even the one in Hermitage, we are looking at it. And so I believe that in due course, we will have all those facilities attended to. I recall the days when, for example, mothers could have actually made babies on the canal. But because of lack of attention and repairs over the years and maintenance, those facilities have fallen to where they are right now. And again, I'm saying that these things take a lot of resources to rehabilitate them. And we are looking at putting them together. Similarly with the police station. We just moved the police station from where it was housed in the former Republic Bank building back to a facility that is not even suitable for all the things that they want to do there. Yes, we have buildings that are dilapidated in St. Patrick. We have been doing a survey to find out whether or not these buildings are owned by the government. For example, there's one, the old revenue office building. We believe that we can rehabilitate all of those and so on to make sure that we can have a functioning government service in St. Patrick. Right now, we are renting from all and sundry, right? Yes, the persons who we are renting from and so on, they're making another income. But at the end of the day, we have to look at bringing all those facilities in one building so we can make it more economy for government to operate in St. Patrick's and other parishes of Grenada. And so, because it's not a thing of St. Patrick only, it's throughout Grenada. Governments of the past have not maintained and kept those facilities in place. And so we have to now come and fix them. We are prepared to fix them. We have to put the resources in place and get it done.
All right. Well, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Doc, and good morning to the Minister.
Good morning.
Minister, you have been the Minister of Finance. But I know that will be of interest to you. There is a situation existing at the eye clinic in the General Hospital where there is a backlog of clientele. I'm one of them, waiting on over 2 years for cataract surgery. However, one machine, which is a blade machine, and that is taking some time. However, the laser machine is down some 2 or 3 years now, waiting to be up. If the laser machine is up, you will be able to do a myriad of glaucoma surgery, including the cataract. How soon do you think your government is actually going to look into this with a view to put in the laser machine at the General Hospital as soon as possible? It's very urgently needed because the backlog is very, very high. It's over 400 persons.
So I get your message, and I do hope my colleague Minister of Health is listening, or I'll convey it to him personally that we probably need to look seriously into that particular matter. Again, I cannot give you a confirmed date or time when this would happen because, again, I am not part of that particular ministry, and I do not want to basically put a timeline for anybody. But I'll encourage him to basically work towards making sure that that can be fixed. Again, we are known as the government that fixes everything around Grenada right now. So I will believe that we can do it.
All right. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Go right ahead with your contribution, please.
Hi, good morning. I just want to commend the host and the guest on the show, but I want to address something that Minister Telesford said. Someone called about the mold, and he said that in due time that will be taken care of. No. Mold is not something you take care of in due time. Mold is an immediate situation. It's a fungus that can get into people's lungs, and it cannot be in due time. Some paint could take care of that. In terms of the eye clinic, I have had an experience where all the persons over 75 have to stand in the long line in the sun. But a week ago, I mean, can some benches be created somewhere for the older persons to sit? I mean, it's very disheartening. I mean, the situation has been like that over and over and over, years over years, upon years, and it's very sad, you know? So, and with the heat stroke in Grenada, with the heat crisis in Grenada, I think these are things that can be addressed immediately. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I agree with you that solutions should be found for those problems. Some of them seems to be minor things, building a bench or two and so on, or even putting up a tent if the space exists. But again, as I said, I do not want to speak for the Minister of Health because, again, he has his work cut out for him and I have mine cut out for me. Although I know we have a uniform government, one that is unified and is prepared to basically tackle all the problems that you're talking about. Some of those cannot happen overnight. Some of them would take a longer time. Again, we are trying to address the issues of health service in Grenada. That's why we are contemplating building the new smart hospital. But again, as I said, a building alone will not resolve the problem. We have a lot more to do to make it a reality.
All right. We'll take our final caller and, of course, get some closing remarks from the Honourable Minister. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Jay, and good morning to Mr. Cornwall. I'm calling from St. Patrick's. Now, Mr. Cornwall, there is two issues I want to deal with you on. One is, you may know the name, Hatters. That man is sleeping under Mr. Gordon's house since the hurricane. And they promised to build him a house. Up to now, that man is sleeping under somebody's house. Mr. Gordon said he will try to reach you one more time to get that man a house because he charged the man sleeping under his house. And that man is an old man in his 70s and he could die under the man's house. We need to get that man a house immediately, a better build back house, whatever you call it, immediately. The man has his land, so the land of the issue. The house for the man, we need to get a house for the man. I'm watching that man every day and he's getting weaker and weaker and weaker because of the element of the weather. And we need to get that man a house. Secondly, there is a lady in Glassy. She said that when she leaves, there's a lot of illegal stuff there taking place. And she needed 2 lights for kids because a lot of illegal stuff taking place, a lot of men from different villages coming in there, and she want to protect her children. She said she asked for 2 lights, and she wanted light immediately because she's scared for her life. That's in Glassy, right? Her name is Prashanti. 2 small issues we need to iron out really, really fast in the in the place of River Sally, St. Patrick's. Have a nice day, brother.
Okay,
Thank
so
you,
let me answer you by saying I'm fully aware of the situation with the guy called Steve who is sleeping under Gordon John's house. Now, Gordon John has mentioned that to me before. I have been trying to ascertain whether or not Steve has lands, because I know his mom lived in that particular area. If you are one of those who could basically help him verify whether or not he has lands on which we can construct a house, I'm fully willing and able to at least provide him with some assistance to get the house back together. Again, I want to let the people know that government cannot do everything for everybody at the same time. We are concentrating on building back houses throughout St. Patrick's, St. Mark's, St. John's, and elsewhere where houses are needed. Notwithstanding, patience is required. Regarding the other question that you raised about the lights and so on in Glassy, now, we have started putting up lights throughout Grenada, Carrick, and Peatmatic. And again, right now I have requests for additional lights to put up in additional places and so on. Again, unless I get those lights in my hand, I would not be able to at least put them up as requested. And again, even the lady that is telling you that she wants 2 lights in her area and so on, there are other areas that might be as equally important. And so I cannot give her any firm commitment that I'll put a light there tomorrow morning, because I have to first of all get the lights and be able to direct where those lights go because of the severity of things. So yes, lights are coming, but I can't give her the commitment I'll do it tomorrow.
All right. Of course, Honourable Minister, we got into that stage of the morning when we're going to have to take a wrap. Anything in closing before we take
Well, thank you, GT, again, for giving me the opportunity to at least make clear to my constituents what is happening in our constituents and the people of Grenada what is happening. I don't want people to go away with the idea that we have this magic wand to fix everything overnight and so on. And I believe that we have been trying as a government to do a lot of the things that were not done for several years. And so give us the time and the patience to do our work. I don't have a problem with criticism, but those criticisms that are misaligned or malaligned, I would say I basically refute them as much as I could at any point in time I get the chance to do. Grenada is up and rising, and let's keep building Grenada. Thank you.
All right. Always, I want to thank you once again for coming on the program this morning. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. I hope we could do this again soon.
Sure.
Have a good day, sir.
Yes.
Hey, folks, that's it. We're going to take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. Goodbye, folks.